Front Plus submitted court documents this morning at the Electoral Court in Bloemfontein. It's argued that the IEC's approval of the Black First Land First as a registered political party was irregular, illegal, and invalid. To discuss this, we're joined by Freedom Front Plus Chief Whip Corne Mulder, and on behalf of Black First Land First, its national convener, Andile Mngxitama. Good evening to both of you, gentlemen. Thanks very much for your time. If I may start with you, Mr. Mulder, why did you decide to do this?
Well, obviously we had no choice. Nobody is above the law. And in South Africa, we have to abide by the law. So quite clearly, there's a problem here that the IEC made a terrible mistake by allowing the registration of the BLF. And we think that should be corrected, and that's why we approached the Electoral Court today.
Why? What has the BLF done or said?
Well, the BLF has made it very clear that it's a party that only black people may belong to. They explicitly exclude anybody else than black people. That is in Section 4 of their own constitution, the constitution that they submitted to the Electoral Commission. And unfortunately for them, that is in contravention with the Electoral Commission Act, Section 16(1)(a), as well as it's in contravention of the Constitution. So obviously, we will have to rectify that.
Land thieves are scared, they are terrified that Black First Land First is going to Parliament. If they really were serious about the law, they would have complied with the provisions of the IEC Act, which give them 30 days to object when a party is being registered. They didn't do this 3 years down the line because our people, black people, have given us enough support to register and give the deposit to the IEC. We will be on the ballot. They are terrified because they know for the first time a black party which represents black people, it will not sell out. It will make sure that we dispossess them of their land, give it to the rightful owners. Black people is coming to Parliament. So they are panicking, they're scared, they're terrified, they're trying to hide behind the law. They will lose in court, they will lose in Parliament, and they will lose outside of Parliament because we're coming to take the land. This is about the land question. The EFF and ANC have failed after 12 months, having agreed to expropriate land without compensation. They have the 2/3 majority. They've allowed these land thieves to go scot-free. But they know, these land thieves, that Black First Land First will not allow that to happen. We're coming to take our land, and our people are sending us to Parliament. We're very confident they will lose, we will win.
Mr. Mulder, is that the reason you are hounding out the BLF, as Mr. Mngxitama is saying? It's because you don't like their message and what they may do?
No. No, I'm not interested in their message. That's, as far as I'm concerned, irrelevant. I can assure you that we are not scared of the BLF or anybody else. That's not the point. The point is that the Constitution has a certain provision and the Electoral Commission Act has a certain provision. Now, if the BLF wants to participate in the democratic processes of South Africa, they have to comply with the provisions of the law. And if you have a party that is based on a racist approach that say only black people may become members of that party, you're outside the law. So tonight is not an opportunity for Mr. Mngxitama to score political points against the EFF and the ANC. Tonight is a part where he needs to explain to the electorate out there that his party is out of line, it's not in line with the Constitution or the Electoral Commission Act, and that's why we approach the Electoral Court, and that's why we will succeed. We are not scared of the BLF, that's irrelevant, that's not the point. South Africa, our constitutional dispensation, is based on the principle of non-racialism. I would like to refer Mr. Mngxitama to Section 1 of the Constitution. Those are called the founding provisions of the Constitution. And parties will have to fulfill those obligations in terms of that, non-racialism. Now, it sounds to me that we've got a problem with the BLF, that they do not believe in non-racialism. They very strongly believe in a racist approach of only black people and white people does not count. Now, that may be their little folly, and it's quite interesting, but in the democratic dispensation, that is out of order.
No, I mean, this is actually irritating to listen to land thieves in our own country. This man and his party, they reject black economic empowerment. They reject affirmative action. In fact, they've threatened to go to war should there be land expropriation without compensation in terms of the constitutional amendment. These people are clear. They're an apartheid organization which is afraid that Black First Land First is going to parliament to basically, why would he want to join a party called Black First Land First if he's not terrified? You look at the nervous laughter of a land thief, a criminal who has not paid reparations for apartheid, for colonialism, and for land theft. No, their time is up. BLF is going to parliament, and as we say, we're organizing outside of parliament as well. They have nowhere to hide. I mean, why would a racist party of white men want a membership of Black First Land First to be open to white people? What for? He has this white party. We don't want to go to the ugly party of racists.
Why do you have to say that in your constitution if you don't think that people like him would be interested in joining your party?
No, of course, it is because we want to be clear that we exclude every white person, including people like him. You know, Steve Biko, 1968.
He knows that.
But so what is his problem? Why is his problem? Why does he want us to open up our party for white people? It is because they've controlled all other black parties. They come with their money, they come with their English sometimes and their theories, which are anti-black, and they basically tame black organizations. They know they can't buy us. We are not the EFF, we're not the ANC, and that is why they're so terrified. It is terror that is making these white people to jump up and down when they see we're going to parliament. We are on the ballot, there's nothing they can do.
Mr. Mulder, I mean, if I hear Mr. Mngxitama correctly, he's saying you may not be saying it in your constitution, but in your deeds and everything else that you do effectively exclude black people.
No, that's not true. I think, with all due respect, I understand the enthusiasm of Mr. Kikama and the BLF.
No, you don't understand.
But maybe we should start with Politics 101. He doesn't understand what it's all about. No, the Freedom Front Plus is not a party that excludes anybody else. You can go and have a look at our membership. Section 18 of our Constitution makes it very clear that any South African citizen 16 years and older are welcome to join the party. And we do have members from other communities that belong to our party. As a matter of fact, we have elected councillors that are not white people, so he's absolutely, completely and totally wrong in his presumption. The fact of the matter is that the BLF may, whatever policy they would like to put forward, that's their position. But you cannot, in terms of Section 16(1)(a) of Electoral Commission Act, the IEC is not allowed to register a party that excludes people on the basis of race, color, or ethnicity. Now, that's exactly what the BLF does. So it's not for me to say, that's what the law says. And if Mr. Dikama doesn't like that, we'll have to change the law. Then we've got another problem. Section 1 of the Constitution deals with the founding provisions, the values on which the state is built. And Section 1B refers to non-racialism. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Kikama, does he and his organization believe in non-racialism, or do they believe in exclusive black nationalism and excluding other communities in South Africa? Because that's a problem. No, he will have to get by in terms of Section 1.
I don't answer to land thieves. I don't answer to land thieves.
But do you believe...
we are a black consciousness organization that represents black people in their country.
Yes, you've got a problem.
In the same way, we go to China, the Chinese set the laws. Then those who come visit, they will live under the rules set by the Chinese. You know, this guy, he says they're fighting apartheid or racism, as he says. There is Orania. What they have done about Orania? What have they done about this new thing called Urega? Yes. In fact, we know for a fact that they go get farm workers, because he represents white farmers who kill our people on farms. They go get farm workers, terrorize them, make them wear their T-shirts, because they are farm workers who are slaves on their farms, and they turn around and say,
Peter Marais is not a farm worker.
Well, of course, but I mean, the majority of, have you seen these people putting T-shirts on black people? And they buy, of course they know, they buy these black people also to try to create, look at their leadership. It's all white. Today, look at that press conference, all white. It is silly, it is crazy.
No, it's
we
not.
should not allow
it's
it
not.
as a people. We
it's
must take ourselves seriously as a black majority. We are not going to... Non-racialism does not mean You must allow racists to be racist. Non-racialism does not mean black people coming together is racism. No. Otherwise, you'll have to get rid of BE. You'll have to get rid of... Because BE is...
But you did say earlier that he doesn't believe in that.
But yes, my point is, he doesn't believe in non-racialism. He's a racist who is a boss on a farm who thinks that they can tell black people what is racism, what's not racism. But essentially, it is fear. Black First Land First is coming to take his land, and then he's going to send him back to Holland. That is his problem.
Mr. Mulder, you don't believe in non-racialism charges? Because you are opposed to all the things that are meant to redress.
No, that's not true. I want to suggest to Mr. Kikama to take a deep breath and to relax. I can hear that he's very excited, and that is very good. Mr. Kikama, I want to give you a nice warning. There's something known as the Electoral Code of Conduct. So even if your party participates, you have to fulfill the obligations of that thing. And if you continue to label other people as racists, as thieves, and those kind of things, you're going to have another problem. So we will take you up on that one as well. The second point, you are under the complete misunderstanding that we are supposedly afraid of you. No, we are not. And we don't want conflict or violence. But you know what? We are part and parcel of South Africa and Africa like you are. So we've got no intention of leaving. No matter how much you want us to leave, we are here to stay. But in the meantime, you have to fulfill the obligations of the Constitution and the law. And if you want to go around with a political party that says only black people, you have a problem. And that's why we went to court, and that's why you will be deregistered very soon. So just hang in there, relax, go and complete your stuff and try and change your stuff. But you are not going to intimidate us in any way whatsoever. Forget about that.
We're changing nothing, Mr. Land Thief. Nothing is going to change. We remain a black party. And unfortunately, we're coming to Parliament. We're coming to force the ANC and EFF to do the right thing. We're going to have the land expropriation. And we're going to organize outside of Parliament too to actually take our land. Black First Land First is going to fight inside Parliament. They will lose. They're going to lose in court. And they're going to lose their actual land. Because this is the only way we can bring down or deal with the white arrogance. This man says the IEC doesn't know what it's doing. Again, just white arrogance. They had their chance. They did not use it. They did not object. 3 years down the line, they think that they can stop Black First Land First from actually going to Parliament. It's not going to happen. We are on the ballot. And they must be prepared to return the land they stole. That's it.
Yeah, that's why we're going to leave it. Mr. Mulder, Mr. Mutama, thanks very much for your time this evening. Freedom Front Plus Chief Whip, Corne Mulder, and on behalf of the Black First Land First, its national convener, Andile.
National President.
Sports and weather still to come.